everybody. Today is the 17th. We are 24 hours into our fast. I hope you are doing wonderful with it. Let's talk a little bit about monitoring your fast, making it through. That for me, anyways, the next 6 hours, because that would be typically when my meal would be, it is going to be the hardest once I hit, bedtime piece of cake to get to 36 hours because I'm going to be sleeping. So, my recommendation is stay busy. Find something to occupy your mind so you're not thinking about food. I would probably stay away from the television because it likes to tell you that you're hungry all the time. To monitor your fast, uh, a keto monitor, Keto Mojo, or something of that, um, like that monitors your glucose and ketones, is a wonderful idea, especially if you're new to fasting, so that you can see when you actually get to ketosis. And you also are making sure that your blood sugars don't drop too low and that they're actually coming down, because if they're not coming down, then your insulin's not coming down and you're not getting to what you really are trying to achieve. So they run anywhere between $20 and $50. You can get them on Amazon. You can get them at Rite Aid. So I think they're a wonderful idea. You don't have to do them all day long, but once or twice a day, especially when you're new to fasting. And then keep a journal. How are you feeling? Write down emotions and energy level and thing as you write down those numbers so that you can start to know your body better and can feel as those things are happening versus depending on a meter. But when you're new to it, it certainly helps and it's a safety factor, and I'm all for that. Make sure you're staying hydrated, add electrolytes in. Remember, just black coffee and tea. Try not to add anything to your coffee because that's going to potentially break your fast and you're starting all over. So, your fast starts at the moment that you stop taking in any kind of nutrients. Um, you want, so you don't want to break your fast if you can help it. And remember, we're not doing this as a weight loss per se. We're losing it to pull out those fat molecules that have been setting for months, maybe years, full of toxins. And we want to get those toxins out. We want to get those old fat cells recirculated and rejuvenated and shrunk. We don't want them to keep blowing up and us getting bigger and bigger. So it's really important that we periodically get into ketosis and, low carbs, high fat, high protein diet is a much healthier diet. And when I'm saying low carbs, I mean starches, pastas and rices and breads and potatoes and things that are going to be converted into sugars, and definitely keeping sugar low. I think I would encourage you all to set as a goal this year to significantly reduce sugar, refined foods, and seed oils. If you can do those three things, you will be probably adding 5 to 10 years to your life. And even if you don't live longer, your quality of life will definitely be better because you can have more energy. You're going to have less spikes up and down, like we talked about yesterday. So now, what else can we do while we're on this fast? Okay, the Bible, when it talks about fasting, it says, don't be like the Pharisees and the legal types and show everybody you're fasting by looking disheveled and sallow and dirty. And so the Bible encourages you when you're fasting not to tell anybody, to they'll say put oil on your skin, but make sure that for us ladies, maybe you're going to put a little makeup on. For men, you're going to wash your face and shave or do whatever your normal routine is, and you're going to go about your business, and you're not going to wear it like a crown. Okay, you're not going to tell everybody, oh, look at me, oh, poor me, oh, me, I'm fasting, because it shouldn't be that way. It's not. You're not in deprivation. This is not about depriving yourself, but it's about cleansing yourself. Okay. And I would encourage you, if you're feeling hungry, to get your journal out and start journaling. What are you feeling at that point? Why do you think you're hungry? What's going on? Did you just see a commercial? Is somebody else in the house cooking something? Did you just drive past a McDonald's? I mean, whatever the case may be. So you can learn more about yourself from how your body's reacting to things. If you can, get out and go sit in the sun and just meditate on the word, take your Bible and read, listen to the audio Bible, just sit there and enjoy nature, listen to the birds, watch them, let the sun shine on your skin. Let's also look at detoxing other things, and like deodorants. When you look at the underarm area, it is just full of lymphatics and nerves and blood vessels. So when we put toxins on there where the skin is very thin and there's lots of vessels, we are making it very easy for the body to absorb any toxins like aluminum or other things like cornstarch and things that are often in our deodorants into our body, and then that gets stored as a toxin. So we talked about this a little bit before, but there's quite a few non-aluminum, zinc-based deodorants out there. You can get them now commercially, or you can go to Etsy and buy them from a small farm where they're using lots of natural oils and ingredients from, goat's milk and various things to make their products. They usually smell, you can get them unscented if you're very sensitive, or you can get them with a scent and they smell wonderful. Dr. Squash, I haven't looked at the ingredients, but they tout being natural. So, you have to look at the ingredients, and they shouldn't be complicated. They should be things that you can say, okay? And I would encourage you to change that habit while you're fasting. Look at what you're putting on your skin. Are you using a lot of lotions? What's in those lotions? I would encourage you to get away from commercial lotions and go to things like coconut oil, olive oil, castor oil. Um, Castor oil is called, the natural Botox. Why? Because it tends to rejuvenate the skin and plump it up. And so a little goes a long way. It's really, really thick. And when you first put it on, you think, oh, that's not going to absorb. But it does absorb. If you're wearing cosmetics, ladies, look for a mineral based. Okay. Again, something that isn't full of toxins. Shampoos, I would recommend using a bar shampoo, again, that's made out of natural ingredients like goat's milk and coconut oil and shea butter, and there's, again, Etsy has some wonderful products. They smell wonderful. They lather great. They clean your hair. And they'll help reduce hair loss. Castor oil also helps reduce hair loss. And you're not taking toxins into your bodies. Some really simple changes will significantly change your health, because don't forget that your skin is the largest organ in your body and it does absorb things. If you need a sunscreen, go with a block type sunscreen, a physical block like a zinc based product, and stay away from the commercial brands. Okay, if you just look up zinc sunscreen, you're going to find some that, and they tend to be white, they tend to be thicker, but they're literally doing, the molecules large, and it doesn't get absorbed into the skin, and it sits on top, and it literally works as a physical barrier. So much safer for you if you really feel that you need a sunscreen. But I would encourage you to just go slow, low and slow. If you have sensitive skin, spend 5 or 10 minutes in the sun. Then the next day, maybe 12 minutes in the sun, and over time get up to 15 or 20 minutes, and then. But you have to do it regularly, and you have to stick at it. Because we need that red light. It's really, really important for brain health, for metabolism, for emotional health. And we spend too much time in blue light and we don't get enough red light, and it needs to be in balance. The blue light causes us to lose motivation, to lose thinking ability, It disrupts our sleep. It makes us easier to be manipulated with psyops and that type of thing. So you really want to limit your blue light time, increase your red light time. Um, Limit drinking out of plastics. I don't like water in a bottle, and I keep some bottled water on hand for emergency. I mean, getting some plastics in an emergency versus, being so dehydrated you die is, you know, the better of two evils. But I don't drink water out of a water bottle. I filter my water, and then if I need to take it with me, I put it in a glass water container or stainless steel. So think about that. If you don't have one, there's some really nice ones out on the market now. And the glass ones are usually a pretty strong glass. It's not going to break easy. And then it has a silicone sleeve around it that pads it. And that would be my primary choice. But you want something that's inert, that's not going to react with the water, that's not going to absorb things. And it also makes it easier to clean them. So that's some clues for today, some ways to stay on your fast. Congratulations for making it 24 hours. And I know you can do this. If an old lady like me can do it, you can do it. If you're new to it and you're just struggling right now, that's okay. Eat a light meal and start again. It might take a few weeks for you to really be able to adapt to the change, especially if you've been eating 3 to 5 meals a day your whole life. It's a big change, and your body is going to revolt. It's going to think that you're cheating it. You're not. Um, and replace activities, okay? You're saving some money on food because you're skipping some meals. Take that money and treat yourself to something, a nice journal, or a day out with your kids or family, or go to the park and enjoy the sunshine if you can. Do something that's a treat to yourself that doesn't involve food and alcohol. And start to learn to reward yourself when you're doing something good. We talked about tiny habits. That's part of tiny habits, right? Is that you're going to make the right thing easy and the wrong thing difficult. So by making your bed in the morning, by preparing your coffee the night before, by um, cleaning the kitchen before you go to bed. Those are things that don't occupy your mind and keep you up at night. And they also are ways to set you up to succeed. Another thing that I would recommend, and I'm working on it because many of you that are getting older have probably had similar experiences of having trouble falling asleep. It just seems to be part of aging, and it really sucks because that sleep time is when your body's doing heavy duty repair. That's when big construction's going on. So turn off the TV and screens if you can. Wear the UV blue light blocking glasses. Like these are blue light blocking glasses, but they also make even stronger ones that are orange. I would encourage doing that. Turn your screen down to dark mode so that you're getting less UV and blue light through that. Spend some time in the Word and meditating. Journal. Maybe start reading books and set a goal that you're going to read, a book a month. And they don't have to be hard books. Maybe you're going to read something like the Chronicles of Narnia. That's where I started last year. I hadn't been a reader for a long time. So I'd only read the Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe when I was a child, and I didn't read the rest of the series. So I just decided I'd read that again. Boy, there was a lot there that I didn't remember. And then I read the other chronicles, and they're fast, easy reading. I like how they relate to the Bible. C.S. Lewis is just a phenomenal apologetic. He was an atheist, and he came to Christ because he tried to argue atheism, and he realized he couldn't. And that's not an uncommon pathway. More and more, I see people who were atheists or agnostics, and they say there's no creator, and in their process of trying to prove that, they come around to Christ because they can't not do that. But they're wonderful readings to read. Get more familiar with the Word, because I do think a day is coming when the Bible's not going to be available anymore. Remember, weekends tend to be hot and heavy. That's when big earthquakes tend to happen. That's when fires break out. That's when volcanoes tend to erupt. That's when wars happen. We just had this peace treaty in Israel that I don't think is a good one at all. And so I will not be surprised if something happens. I got to say, I'm concerned about the inauguration on Monday because so many Democrats aren't coming. And it's tradition. Okay, I understand they don't like Trump. Fine. But to not show up for their constituents, to not be there makes me, and what Jake Sullivan said in his last speech, where, this is the last time you're going to see me unless something happens. And we all know there's a high likelihood of that. That was a funny thing to say. And so it makes me really wonder what they got up their sleeve. I don't trust them. And I don't trust that they're not going to have another group do something. We had 1,000 known terrorists in the country, and then Biden turned around and gave 7,000 more with potential terrorist ties immunity and allowed them in. And then he just gave amnesty to 2,500 more people or commuted their sentence or whatever it was. And so it's like they're just like flooding our communities with criminals and terrorists and people that have nefarious deeds in mind, and foreign actors that are foot soldiers. And I heard that there's Chinese military accumulating down on our southern border, and these are like, sniper types and highly trained special ops. And so have your head on a swivel while you're fasting. Don't let your brain get fogged, but instead really concentrate on making your brain stronger. Make sure you have what you need to come out of the fast safely. Have some bone broth. Fire and Kettle's a good brand. I like to make my own. And what I do when I make my bone broth is I just buy a roasted chicken at the store. And it's kind of, when I go grocery shopping, I usually pick up one because it lasts me about a week. And it's easy. It's already cooked. I'm not wasting electricity on cooking it. But then I take the carcass and I put it in the crock pot, and I add some filtered water, and I add carrots and celery and a little bit of onion and salt and pepper. And I let it cook it. I get it up to boiling, and then I simmer it for like 12 to 24 hours. In that process, I'm pulling out all the nutrients from the marrow, and I'm making a really good broth out of it. Then I strain it and I take what's left, and those vegetables add some flavor. And they also, since they're primarily water, they're adding to the broth. Then I take all that's left and I put it in a food processor and I blend it into a paste. And that becomes dog food for my dog. So nothing from that carcass is wasted. Every bit of it, from the nutrients in the marrow to the meat on the bones to the bones, those bones get ground up into a paste. So there's nothing that can, get stuck in my dog's throat. But they're getting any last nutrients out of the marrow that didn't break down into the broth. They love it. I add it to their kibble, and it's like a topping for them. And so, and I have 4 dogs, and I add, I don't know, about an eighth of a cup to the food that I mix for all 4 of them, and they get that for 3 to 4 days, and they love it. And so, and then I pressure can the bone broth so that I have it for later. But out of that, I get several meals. Bone broth, which is $3 to $5 for a quart. So when you look at that, I'm getting about a quart. So just the cost of the chicken covers the bone broth that I don't have to buy. And then I've gotten dog food out of it and meals. And so for me, I find it a really economical way to add chicken into my lifestyle and make it easy and nutritious. So on that, we're going to keep it short today. I'm really proud of you for making it a day. And the next 6 hours is the toughest. So stay busy. Go visit some friends. Go shopping. Read a book. Start journaling. Start maybe really looking at what are your New Year's resolutions and how are you going to do it. Maybe start planning your garden. In a couple of weeks, we're going to start our seedlings. And so maybe think about where you want to put them, what you want. Maybe, get on to Rare Seeds, Baker Creek, and pick out some new plants that you haven't done before. I highly recommend bok choy. It's a beautiful plant. It's very nutritious, high fiber, easy to grow. Maybe add some winter squash in if you haven't done it. That's something I'm adding this year. And so start thinking about that. And congratulations, you are on the road to health and detoxing, and and don't forget to pray, and don't forget to add um vitamin G, gratitude to your diet. So, thank the Lord for the beautiful day. Thank you for him um giving you strength through this fast. Thank you for giving us a way to cleanse our body. Thank you for giving us a body that wants to be healthy. More than anything, our body wants to live. It is designed so miraculously. People say, well, miracles don't happen anymore. Well, your body's a miracle. It's healing itself all the time. It wants to live. It's going to do everything it can to stay alive and thrive. So we're just helping it. We've been kind of sabotaging it with crazy Western diets. And we did it to the whole world. I mean, I think it was Dr. Drew Pruitt that I was watching, and he said that, that in India, they used to do a lot of ghee, right, which is a clarified butter to the next step. And almost nobody had heart disease. People were living old. They weren't getting obese. They were just a really healthy population. And then he went back to visit family, and all over the place were billboards with heart healthy and canola oil and, all these seed oils. And he noticed that people were getting sicker and they were getting fatter. And, so we have taken our propaganda and we've shipped it all around the world. And we need to turn it around and not let politicians tell us how to be healthy, and not let, lobbyists tell us how to be healthy. And, the Food and Drug Administration, what a combination, foods and drugs together. And we've talked about drugs are actually pharmakia, which is witchcraft. And the same people that made nicotine even more addictive than it was have now taken sugar and added it to everything, 73% of foods, and they're making it addictive. And it's very addictive. It's on the same level as cocaine. So, we need to be aware of that. I mean, being aware is step one. If you don't know there's a hole, you're not going to fix it. Then the next thing is, well, how do I fix it? What materials do I need? Well, you need fibers, and you need um, proteins, and you need to replace it with healthy fat. So nobody is saying don't eat fat at all. I'm saying, yes, eat fat. But go back to you got to wipe that board clean, and everything you have been learning since the 50s, just say it's a lie. Or I haven't learned it, and start from fresh. Wipe that slate clean, go back to butter, no margarine. That's like the worst of worst. And olive oil, and like your great grandmother did. You Italians out there, I mean, come on, our great grandmothers, they knew how to cook. And some olive oil and some pasta and some tomatoes and some sauces, and it was a variety, and lots of vegetables, and that Mediterranean diet. And guess what? They lived well into their hundreds. So, and even though life was tougher, but they also walked a lot. They also slept good because they were exercising and working farms and working, walking to work, and they didn't have refrigerators, or they had very small ones. Even in, where my family's from in Austria today, they still have very small, like, RV size refrigerators. So they walk every day. They take their dogs for a walk. They go out to eat. They're walking there. They're walking here. They go to the butcher shop. They go to the konditorei. They go to the bakery, and everything is fresh. It doesn't have a bunch of preservative and chemicals in it. And Europe has done a much better job of outlawing bad pesticides. We don't do a good job of that at all in this country. It's like it really bothers me how little our government who should be taking care of people, how they've actually sabotaged that. So you need to do it as heads of your households, as heads of your homestead. You need to do it. Don't depend on doctors. Don't depend on the government. Doctors mean well, don't get me wrong, but most of them have become employees of a system, and that system tells them what they can and can't do. And they're not even allowed in many instances to tell you things that they want to, or they'll lose their job. So you need to know that they have a formulary they work on, and if they don't prescribe off that formulary, they get in trouble. There's community standards. And so if other doctors are prescribing X, Y, and Z and they're not doing that, they get in trouble. It is not the same as it was 50 years ago. where they owned their own practice, where they knew several generations, where they knew everybody in the family. When you came in, they said, "How's your kids? How's little Joey? Is Mary starting college yet? How's your dad? I haven't seen him for a while. Is he still growing corn?" They knew everything. And so they were much better equipped to help you through troubles and to keep you healthier. You don't have that relationship anymore. You're lucky if they remember your name. So you need to own your health. You live in your body. Get to know what's normal for you. Pay attention to it. If it starts changing, go, why is this changing? And then attack it from there. And the first step is this fast, because guess what? When you're fasting, you're not spending time on cooking, you're not spending time on shopping for food. You're just spending time with your body, okay? And with the Lord and with nature and with your family, and start making that a priority. If you're the head of the household, start adding prayer, family prayer to your daily routine. I found one of my cousins sent me like a family tree, and in it was a written kind of history of our family, and it was really neat to see that my grandparents and great grandparents in the evening all sat down together with the family and did family prayer. And that was part of their everyday life. And I know when the last family reunion I went to, everybody was around the piano singing hymns, and they all either had beautiful voices or knew how to play an instrument. And it was all day long that there was somebody at the piano singing. It wasn't always the same people. It kind of rotated in and out, but as soon as somebody left, somebody else came and started up again. It was so beautiful. I didn't have that in my little family. We were separated from the main part of the family. My dad was military, and he kind of walked away from the faith, and my mom was an atheist. So I didn't have that, but I thought, oh, this is really wonderful. And, people were happy and they were joyous and they were laughing. And it was just, the kids were running around having a great time and playing on the trampoline and playing tag. And I think that's what life's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be on a game, and it's not supposed to be grumbling and stuck in traffic and all of that. So the more we can get back to natural, the more we can get back to basics, I think you're going to find not only is your body healthier, but your soul is healthier. And that's why this channel is food for the soul. It's not just food for the body, but for the spirit and the mind, body, spirit, emotions, right? We're biopsychosocial spiritual beings, and we got to hit all of those. The bio is the physical food, psycho is our brains and our emotion. Social is our interactions with others, and if we're happier, we interact with others better. We don't get so snappy and critical. And let's lift each other up. Make it a pledge this year that you're going to tell at least one person every day something good about them, that they look great today, that you love their smile, that you appreciate the things that they do for you, that you love their artwork, that whatever it is, everybody, how you love how they make you feel comfortable and friendly, you love how they joke, whatever it might be. And I think you're going to find as you push gratitude out, your circle is going to improve in their health as well. And that's a good thing. Okay. So, on that note, let's do a quick prayer. And Father, thank you very much for this opportunity to share health with people. Thank you for a community that wants to grow and prosper in you and in the things that you bring us through good, whole food, sunshine, exercise, and just everything. You're the creator. So, Father, please put a hedge of protection around these people. We're going into the weekend when everything seems to go crazy, and protect them, protect their families, protect my family and friends. And let's get stronger and heal together under your name. In Jesus' holy name, amen. Thank you all, and you have a blessed day.